Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. We've got some best bets here on a Thursday in the NBA. Got 5 games on the slate here. We're also going to be bringing you some looks for player props in a separate episode, so make sure to subscribe to that page and continue to follow along with us all season. Also need to let you know about the lines.com email newsletter. Make sure you are signing up to that. We've got the link in the description of the video here. That's how you make sure you're staying on top of everything on the lines.com, as we've got plenty of content coming out around all the sports happening at the moment and season long, all year round, I should say. So definitely check that out. And Nate and I are going to be dropping our bonus parlay bet in there every Friday when that comes out as well. So you're going to want to make sure to check that out. Nate, let's go ahead and jump right into your first best bet here for Thursday night.
Yep, and so that'll be starting next Friday, I believe, with the bonus pick. I don't think they're quite ready with the newsletter. Just to clarify, but yeah, Nuggets -3.5, where you can still get it. I mean, it's up to 4.5 at points. But I like Denver here on 2 days rest. Denver being an absolute wagon on offense right now, 110 of their last 11, number 1 offensive rating in that span. Milwaukee's number 22. And I don't know if Giannis is fully right. I mean, I guess he's not. But in any case, like the Denver defense is most vulnerable when you can move the ball, when you can get assisted field goals and assisted points in the paint. And Milwaukee's bottom 5 in both those categories. So they also have an offense that has really struggled down the stretch because they don't have Giannis in just total God mode. And honestly, like with Dame, if the defense is disciplined enough to like stick to Dame, it's just like, where else are they going to go? Again, you need to get the ball movement going enough so that you get AJ Green or Torian Prince an open shot. Otherwise, the Bucks don't have other creators. It's just very dependent on Giannis. It has led to clunky in clutch game. Their last 6 clutch games, just 98 offensive rating. They're now second worst fourth quarter scoring. Denver hasn't even been in a clutch spot in this 11 game span, because like the one game they lost, they got kind of blown out. Otherwise, they're just rolling past people. Joker's on his stuff, man. And I mean, can Brolo contain him? Well, the last 5, 31-point triple-double on average. Denver's won 4 of them. Jokic is plus 28. The Bucks, I mean, Brolo, as he continues to slip, Bucks 5th worst opponent field goal percentage at the rim in their last 10. So that is not the drop D we know and love sometimes. But can a drop defense even work against a team that takes the fewest 3-point attempts in the league? That's not Denver's game, right? I mean, so they're going to be fine if you want to drop. And they have been efficient when they do shoot above the break threes, 42% in their last 6. So I think Milwaukee's defense is in trouble here, and I think the Denver D, with most of their guys ready to go here on 2 days rest, should be fine.
Yeah, the Milwaukee defense might be in trouble. It's been better, since I guess basically since right before the All-Star break, they were playing a lot better. That's basically the amount of games that they've had doing that. But yeah, I think there's going to be points scored. I don't think either team's going to necessarily. I mean, Denver's just bad on defense right now, and they need to figure it out. But for Milwaukee, I don't know that they're going to have their weapons. To your point, I don't know what's up with Giannis after playing 32 in a game that they wanted to win. I'm confident, and they lost by 3, and he still was only out there for 32 minutes on a clear cap, where that game he could have played close to 40 if it was fully healthy, if not 38 for sure, in a game that they want to win against a very good Western Conference team, and they need to keep pace in the East, and they end up losing it. So yeah, I don't think you can just bank on them being right just yet. And until I see that, this is not the game to get right, I would imagine, here in Denver. So, with Denver anyway. But let me go over to the Dubs here. They're going to kick things off in Orlando on the slate. And this is actually a pretty interesting matchup. It's been that basically for the last couple of years, but I'm going to take the Dubs to cover 5.5 points in this one on the road. And I still just don't trust Orlando, and I'll still just bring us all right back to Jalen Suggs and the level of importance that he has for this team, as their net rating is about 9 points per 100 better with him on the floor. A lot better on offense. Way better, not way better on defense, because they're still very good on defense, but it's very noticeable on offense that they don't have an athletic shooting guard that's a smaller ball handler than a guy like Franz and Paolo, obviously, and that's showing its head. So if you look at them, really, I think what it comes down to is their inability to keep pace with the Dubs. These are 2 of the best defensive teams in the league now, and if anybody wants to believe in the Dubs, it's because of their defense and the fact that they can get to the free throw line, and those are the 2 things that I'm really banking on for them in this game to help them cover as road favorites here. But they have been the best defensive rated team in the last 5, and since Jimmy got there, they're looking at 7th best, fifth best on offense, second best net rating in the league. And I don't take that lightly. I mean, for the Dubs, they played basically like the 13th, 12th hardest schedule since Jimmy got there. So they haven't been walking over cupcakes completely. They have some nice wins against cupcakes, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. When you look at their what I mean in terms of Orlando not being able to stick with them on offense, it might be a 108 to 100 game, but I don't see Orlando continuing to be able to score the way that they have not been able to score basically since the break. And since Fraulo has been there, they're 27th in true shooting percentage. They're not getting open good looks. They're not really getting to the free throw line either. Free throw attempt rate over the course of the last 5 games, they're 4th worst in the league. On the season now, 5th worst. And the Dubs, that would be the one place that you can get them, although they've been better since Jimmy got there, is limiting free throws. They're 30th on the season. So that's the place that you get them, is you attack the rim and you get there and get to the free throw line. And I still just don't trust them with the way that Draymond is now playing that small ball 5, and they're really not worried about making sure they get certain guys minutes. The down low defense has become awesome again. It's still number 1 limiting rim points on the season, and has gone back to being number 1 in the last 5 after kind of dropping down a few spots over the course of the last 10, 11 games. So now they're back. And so I just don't know how Orlando is going to score when you still trust the Dubs to get open looks. And most importantly for them, get to the free throw line as well, where they are now number 1 on the season with their free throw attempt rate. And Jimmy has helped pull that up by making them 4th over the course of the last 5 games. They've really upped that, and that's now added to what they can do. So this is a team I believe in the Dubs, and I'm yet to believe in Orlando until they have another guy like Suggs back.
Absolutely, I'm rocking with Jimmy and the boys in this spot, right? I mean, this is a Draymond game all over it, right? Just like it's gonna be in the mud. Whether he, with both him and Jimmy to throw at both Frollo, each of those guys, like where else can the magic really turn? Yeah, nowhere. I mean, their offense is just awful at times. So love the Dubs here as they start their East Coast road trip. Like fading the Hornets as they finish their West Coast road trip in Dallas. I mean, I don't have too many notes for this because it's just like Charlotte's been so abysmal that I mean, you could bet this a couple different ways. Mavs are still minus 9.5, which is surprising. The Hornets are under. The Hornets team total under 107.5 seems like a good look, or just under for the game, because both these teams are 5th and 6th lowest in pace in their last 8 here. I don't really see why this has moved up a couple points when Charlotte's on an historic streak of like 88 points or fewer, losing by 50 or more on the road in 3 straight. This is the end of a 9-game road trip. Like I said, so I just don't see how they bring any real fight to this one. And the thing is, like, Dallas's biggest weakness right now defensively is their lack of rim protection. Hornets are dead last in rim frequency during this trip. That's all I got, Finn. So like I had a lot more for this Wolves Lakers game, which you're going to get into. I liked the total, hit it at 223. It is now up 6 points. So yeah, pivoting to just say like, let's fade the Hornets again.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much explanation we need when we talk about fading the Hornets, fading the Wizards, right? The teams that have clearly given up. I hope we don't need too much explanation. I think we need to explain if we're going to fade the Bulls moving forward. They're not that bad. So we have to consider that Giddy and the boys, if you will, are doing their thing over there. But for a team like this, yeah, Charlotte is... They're doing it best. They do it better than you. They tank better than you. I'll tell you that. They are, because getting blown out by 53, it's exciting stuff for them. So let's move on. They are a blemish on the league, but I'm going to go to that mini LA game, like you said. Thanks for letting me finish it off with that. And I'm sure you'll have plenty to say as well. And you and I are both on the same page that the over was a beautiful look here until it got nuked up to like 2. It's going to be at 230. By the time this game gets there, it could be over 230 because it's gone from 224 to 229 in some places very quickly. And it's going to stay there. And what I think we're all seeing when it comes to the over, which, by the way, let me start with this. I'm not taking that right now. I'm not. The value's gone to me once you get over 227.5. So I'm down with the Lakers -6. And I don't think that's going to get too much higher. Minnesota looked really good against in 3 really tough games since the break, against OKC twice and then against Houston. So, they've had their fair share of tough games. They've got the hardest schedule in the league over the last 10 and over the last 15 games of the season. So they're playing good comp, and they are 5-5 in their last 10, 2-3. But right now, like, this Lakers defense is legitimate. And they're not doing it with a legitimate big man because Jackson Hayes is no one definition of a true, down low presence to defend the rim, and certainly not Alex Len either, as you've astutely pointed out a couple times. But they're doing it in other ways by making sure that they ball hawk the crap out of the perimeter. And having Jared Vanderbilt back can never be underestimated, because even for his 20 to 22 minutes that he's playing, he's a problem for the team's other best player. And I think they're showing that they need him out there for more minutes. If he's able to come out there, I think you're going to see a bit more Vando to come and handle Ant, because you take care of Ant, and then obviously you're going to have to deal with mostly just shooting from from McDaniels and Nas, and then you got to deal with Nas at that point. And I think that'll just be the focal point, is like, all right, Vando and a slew of other guys come in and just limit Ant as much as you can, and then we'll limit Nas on the spot up and not let him get too far into the paint, because he won't have a defender that can stop him if he does go down low. So those are the two things that I think JJ Redick's honed in on to take care of. But I'm starting to trust him as a defensive-minded coach. Like, if you look at the guys that he's helped shut down, or the way that he's played, like, yeah, Kyrie, great game in the last one. That was sort of like a fine, do you, man. We're still going to win this one by 8 pretty comfortably, and you're going to have to like really try to come back consistently. But if you look at the D, like I said, basically like the second best defensive rated team over the last 7 games specifically, which since they've had Luka, actually I'm lying to you, they're 6 now. They were second over like 5 games, but in the last 5, second. In the last 7, they're like 6th best. It's the defense has helped them keep the pace down as well, which is actually, move the pace up, which has helped them a ton as they get more points off of turnovers, pace back up to 6th fastest in the league since they got Luka. And look, they slowed things down a ton. It was a lot of Utah where they played really fast in a couple games, and then they came back against very slow teams like Charlotte, very slow team like Dallas, and things, got a little bit choppier. But Minnesota has picked up the pace as well, and I think they're going to continue to do that because of the lack of Rudy Gobert. So the over really, the over goes back to that. But the Lakers winning comes back to they don't have the presence down low. That's why Minnesota is forcing the pace faster. That's why they're trying to get things out into the transition, because they don't necessarily have the half court defense that they've had in the past with Rudy there to help cover up some of the blemishes at the rim that they don't have that right now. So plus I think DDV is questionable, still not banking on him providing much there as far as perimeter defense goes. So I think Luka's going to have his way. This team has started going to the rim way more on the season. They're looking at about like their 15th, 16th in terms of the amount of frequency with which they go to the rim. Since Luka got there, they're up to 4th highest frequency going to the rim, 4th best field goal percentage as well going to the rim, which has helped them get in the top 5 in terms of rim points. And that's what we talked about in the last one, where they didn't cover the 9.5. Good on the Mavs. You were right on that one. They covered it with by only losing by 8, making a comeback after down double digits. So good for them. I don't think Minnesota has that in them, despite the way they've been playing their division foes in the last couple of games. I think this is going to be LA able to cover.
You don't think they have it in them after they came back from 20 in OKC?
It's a different beast, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, there's a chance Ant isn't healthy. If we talk about capping against Stars here, I mean, he wasn't able to really finish most of that last game, and is legitimately questionable for this one. So that's why it's moved a little bit, right, from 5 to 6.5. And I think you're holding a great ticket if Anthony Edwards does not play. But the key is we know Rudy's out, and like you said, the Lakers are number 1 in rim frequency in their last 7 here as a Luka-led team. So yeah, there should be more points here. That's why I was leaning towards the over. The Wolves have gone over in their last 6 of the last 7 as dogs, and they're scoring 5 more a game without Randall, and they score more on 2 days rest for what that's worth. So all that played into this over. I mean, I don't fully believe in the Lakers defense, although I will stop the Jackson Hayes slander that everybody seems to pull out. Is like, the Lakers don't have a real center. Like, he's not, like, he's fine. He's fine defensively. He's obviously not, the teams have dragged worse centers to a championship. That's defensive centers. Let's just leave that. Like, Bill Wennington would like a word. Names. Yes. Luke Longley, solid for the 90s, but yes, just absolutely dragged by the wings the Bulls had. So, I mean, so he's fine.
I'm so glad. I did not wake up today thinking we were going to have a Bill Wennington reference on the pod, and I'm so happy we got it in there. So that's all the time we have for you, though, tonight. Enjoy this Thursday night slate. There are some pretty good games here with the 5 that we have available to us. We've also got player props available in a separate episode, so make sure you do check that out as well. Until we see you next, happy betting.